All right, I got a message the other day from a young man who's trying to learn how to carve, and he told me that he has a problem. He wants to create a figure with the person looking down at his feet, or and he didn't know how to do that, or everything he did, still didn't look like he was looking down. It looked like he was looking, up too much and whatever it was. And I didn't know exactly how to explain that to someone. I would have to show you that. So I'm going to do that today. We're just going to do that as a... Okay. Now, first of all, we have to understand something. What happens is in order to have yourself looking down, then you have to change the position of the body a little bit. And I think that's what happens with a lot of people. They don't change the position. They put them in the straight up position that they do to, and you can have the head actually looking down, but it looks a little odd. So you need to change the position. I went on Google and I actually got some looks of let me do this right there, of what it looks like when a person's looking down, in other words. And as you see, the body has to be bent somewhat for you to do that, in other words, or to be looking that way, in other words. So if your body's straight up, then naturally it's, you can have the head completely down, but it doesn't look quite as natural. And because when we go to look down, we bend our back. We do most of the time when we're looking down at the... So a lot of it is that we want to keep the body position the way we normally do when we carve something standing up, but that's not the case. Now let me show you a perfect example of that. And I've already done one. Here's one that I already did. And I'm going to show you today how to do that. Well, all we're going to do is the head. We're not going to do the body or anything like that. We're just going to do the head, and to see now that the feet would come out further and all that stuff. Just to show you how you would position the head to be looking down. And this is the figure right here, in other words. Okay? All right. Now, let's take one that I've cut out here. All right? And all we're going to do is work on the head, okay? We're not going to go through the whole body deal because it's not necessary. I'm going to show you. Now, what you have to do is where this would have been the top of the head up here with your back straight up, you're actually bending the body over a little bit. This would be the top of the head up here. This would be the top of the head, not this up here. So you have to look at it like that. And you have to look at it like that whenever you carve it. So, which is a little bit different. It is if you haven't done that, and I understand that. Now, let's go ahead and get the head ready for this. We're just going to kind of... Now you can when you do this, you can either cut it with it rounded like this, or you can actually just go ahead and you can actually make this. If you just want to do is just come out in square like this, okay, and work from it there. That's up to you. Doesn't matter. I went ahead and cut it. Now this is actually the back of the head here. All right, when it's in that position, it will be the back of the head that we're going to be working on. So the grain is going to change a little bit, where it's not going to be straight up and down. So you might get a little bit of resistance. Make sure your knife is sharp. Okay, and that this will be the top of the head. And this here from both sides will be where you're looking down. So you want to give yourself plenty of room. So let's go ahead and just go ahead and shape the head a little bit, because 90% of it is the face that we're looking at anyway as we work with this. And if you look at this as being the top of the head and not this up here, then it'll be much easier for you to see what we're talking about. Which is a different way of carving. I mean, not a different way, but it makes it a little bit different if you're not used to it, carving it like that. So we just kind of round the top of the head and the back of the head like this, okay? Now, normally, if the head was straight up, we would come here and make our face, okay? But our face is going to be made down here. There's the difference. So it does change the shape. It does. It changes the shape of the head a lot. Now, when we get to this point, and we want to look at the actual pattern here, okay? And we look at the person, the nose will be down in this area and in here, all right? So if you look at the pattern, get the pattern in. Your nose is going to be down this area, and the top of the head in this somewhat. So we're going to you want to go from side to side, getting where your nose is going to be. By the way, this is just an inch thick right here. I don't know what size your figure is going to be. I just used an inch thick wood here. All right. So, the grain does change, so you want to be careful. I'm going to bring this further out like this and thin this up. All right. So remember, this is the top of your head here. This is the top of your head. This is where your face is going to be. So let's go ahead and bring this down just a little bit more. All right, now what we want to do is we want to come somewhere about right in here, okay? And we want to build our nose, okay? So we're going to make a cut right here. Just like that. And I'm going to cut, because we're going to cut the nose down anyway. It doesn't really matter. I just make the nose bigger. Just like that. All right? And then we're going to cut the nose this way. And this way. You want to be careful. And let's cut this way. It's just going to cut that off. So come from each side. Be careful as you make this nose. But as you can see now, as you can see, this the nose is going to be down in this area, all right? Okay. Okay. And if you want to cut it up just a little bit, but I would just continue to trim that nose off a little bit as you go along. And remove some of that wood up in here. Now you want to be careful because this is very delicate in here. Okay, just so like that. I may have to come this way on each side to get that all right. Now this is something very similar. Here's the nose. Remember, this is the top of our head. So what we want to do, since that's the top of our head, we want to do our ears and all that stuff. We want to bring this around here. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to drop my knife and all that stuff. And we want to kind of cut this around here, okay? And then we cut off this here. Okay? Looking again. And of course we'll cut back a little bit in here. All right, now you see that? Let me show you. Let's bring that nose down a little bit more. All right, and we can bring that hair even further back right in here. However we want to make him. And we can actually bring this back just a little bit. Okay. And we can bring that just a little bit back. See how we've centered the face now where it's looking down. Okay, now cut a little bit of this in here, and you can actually take the ears and we can cut them up here, and I always make the ears bigger. But you want to be careful in this area. You want to be careful because you're going to get against the grain a lot in here. So you want to cut, of course this is too long right here. It gets very brittle in here, so you want to be careful. And you want to do the same over here. Just want to bring this as a C. When you want to watch your knife in here, you want to just kind of take a little bit off at a time. Cut some more. Take a little bit more off. Cut some more. All right. Now, let's take a little bit more off in here. A little bit more off in here. Now I'm not going to great detail on the ears and everything like that. In other words, I'm just wanting you to get the face right. Okay, so if you look from the side here, there are his ears. And I'm not gonna, ooh, grabbing this, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna come in here and do this. I'm just gonna make those like that. Because my main, but you want your ears now to be looking down like that, in other words. Let's take out little portions in here. Okay. And let's take out a little bit in here. And here. And in there. All right, now as we look at that, I could have done a little bit more detail on those ears and stuff. But like I said, I just want to get you situated here. Let me take a big portion out of here just to show you how that portion has to be taken out there to get this right. All right, and then this has to be taken out in here so that everything will stand out more. Okay. And the same thing here. All this has to be, see, this has to be removed in here so that it will give even more of a classical look to that situation there. Because this will be the top and this will come even down even more. Like that. See that? See that as you look down? Now I would have taken more time with the ears, but I didn't really want to get into all that stuff. Okay. Now the nose is going to have to come down just a little bit more. Okay, now there we go. See? If you look at that, that's how it works. And we want to come down here, and we want to make a cut right in here and take some off right in there. Okay? And that will give it more of a look. There we go. Okay. And then this comes up even more. This sort of slides up here to do that. All right. Now let's come down here. Let's come in with a little bit of that nose just right in here. A little bit right in there. And let's go ahead and make our age line right in here. Now this is only 1-inch wood, so it's going to be the face is going to be a lot thinner than, say, you had a 1.5-inch figure. Okay, this actually is a very small face. If you're doing you'll have more room. All right, we've made the age lines here. Okay. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Just like that. Let me bring that down just a little bit. Okay. Here we go. And let's just bring the mouth across just like that. Just let's have it. Like I said, the 1-inch thick is not very thick for a face, unless you're doing a very small figure. And a figure this size would probably be right about 1.5 inches. So your face would be bigger. All right, you see that? Just like that. Now from the side,